ICE has more funding than the IDF, and look what the IDF can pull off. Donald Trump is entitled to 30 days of this, and then he has to declare a national emergency. Stephen Miller's directive, where he got up there and he said, you go to Home Depot, you go to immigration court, you go to church, you go wherever you need to go.
I have more clips lined up for us of Fox News The 5, where Jessica Tarlov is sounding off and humiliating her MAGA co-host. So if you can, take a second, leave us a like on the video, gives us a boost in the algorithm. It only takes a second and it lets us know you enjoy the content. And let's get right to the debate.
ICE has more funding than the IDF, and look what the IDF can pull off. We know exactly where this administration's priorities are.
LA to Gaza. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think that you would be very wrong to make that comparison. Listen, this idea that the agents have to be identifiable and you say they're all uniformed, that is not true.
Yes,
there are plainclothes cops.
The vest.
No, there are plainclothes ICE agents that are pulling people into vans. It has been documented. On top of it, the NYPD, for instance, which you were a part of, has a policy against a masking right. They even have had a policy against
because it's
facial
New York
hair.
City and it's been run by communists for the last 15 years. I mean, we never had that. There was a law in New York State that you were not allowed to wear a mask.
Listen,
and by the way,
we
they
all
want to put that back.
transparent policing. That's why we like the body cams.
No, because you want to dox these guys.
Yeah, guys, totally normal and not authoritarian to want masked agents to grab people off the street, force them into cars, and give little to no explanation before they're disappeared for months, or worse, sent to a foreign gulag in a country they've never been to and don't speak the language of. This is these things that are actually happening to people, by the way, right? Like, it should not go without a reminder again also that it's not just, oh, it's happening, but happening to migrants. Like, this is happening to U.S. citizens, right? George Redis is a U.S. veteran. He served in the Army, spent multiple days in ICE custody. We covered the American citizen. Her name was Ward, I think Salick or something like that, who was detained returning from her honeymoon, held for over 3 months. Like, there's numerous examples of this, right? These aren't migrants, right? Policing should be transparent. If the actions you're taking lead you to fear your identity getting out because of people's response to them, you should probably start by asking yourself if you're really the good guys you think you are.
You have a 3,000 a person a day quota, which has been Stephen Miller's directive, where he got up there and he said, you go to Home Depot, you go to immigration court, you go to church, you go wherever you need to go to get 3,000 people out of this country on a daily basis. Mistakes are going to be made, and people are going to do things that they do not want to be doing.
And that's the argument after letting 20 million in?
First of all, they did not let in 20 million people. That isn't. No, worst first was what we were told was going to happen. No,
yes,
I was not against worst first. And Joe Biden, by the way, started
a good guy or a bad guy?
Well, it hasn't been. You haven't had much success proving that he's who you said he was.
It's funny because when MAGA was pretending that DEI was just quotas, which is, of course, they just don't know what DEI is, they were all against quotas then. But now they're all for them. They defend them when they're getting used for immigration. It's almost like that was all just a lie to give them grounds to defend their racism and being against DEI. But immigration quotas, like police quotas, are going to then lead to insane stops, arrests, and more just to meet that quota. Like with ICE, how we're seeing them raid Home Depot, stop people based off their race and accent, grab up citizens because of their skin color, grab up long-term migrants who have no criminal record, when we were told the worst first would be what happened, until they realized that they weren't going to outperform Joe Biden's numbers doing this, which is all Trump cares about because he pretended for years that Biden and Democrats are just open borders. So like, it's going to show bad upon them if they have lower numbers than Biden. And that's why we're seeing the inhumanity jump to a whole nother level in hopes of this really dumb goal.
CBS News looked at the DC crime data amid these National Guard deployments. I mean, you can't argue with the numbers. It is working. Crime is down.
Absolutely. I mean, and there were 2-week periods, though I'm sure Greg will jump in and say, but they were fake numbers. But there were 2-week periods in February and March, I think it was, where there were also no homicides. So
those were fake numbers.
But now it's real. Everything under Trump.
I did it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I like it when we tag team. Anyway, when it's Trump's people, he believes the numbers. When it's not, he says that they're fake. But sure. And those interviews were, not of the white hippies out in Georgetown or whatever. They were of minority folks perhaps registered Democrats that were happy to see it. And we see that overwhelmingly in surveys, that people do want more police presence. They don't want less, but they want it to be effective. And what will be most interesting is what happens when the 30 days are up, because Donald Trump is entitled to 30 days of this, and then he has to declare a national emergency.
And it shouldn't be glossed over what she said here. The weeks earlier in the year disprove any real causation of the National Guard in lowering crime. This is obviously something that just fluctuates, where if anything, to the effect that it would be having, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound. You remove the Band-Aid and the blood starts flowing again if you don't actually address the wound. If you don't address what causes crime and you remove the National Guard, the crime just continues. It seems Trump's solution to this is to forever drain resources. It's over $1 million a day to do this, to federalize the National Guard in all 50 states, which would be more than $1 million. It's to do this in one state, right? And create a military state, essentially, where they are possibly ready to move on civilians. I mean, who knows where he would draw the line here? It's just sheer insanity, right? And they would rather do this than address things like income inequality, gun control, mental health, addiction, and more. And then, you know, like just structuring normal policing to fill in the gaps. This is why we need sensible Democrats back in office. And actually on my second channel, The Discourse, link in my description if anyone wants to go to it, where we do interviews and debates and stuff, I interviewed a former police officer, sociology PhD, and he actually said something I thought was really, really compelling, in that if the left doesn't want to control crime and policing, then the fascists will. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now.